Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video and yet another episode of my F1 2018 career mode. Today we are here for round 10 for the British Grand Prix. If you guys did miss round 9 though for the Austrian Grand Prix, do check out the episode by clicking the card in the top right hand corner of your screen. But as you can see, pretty good weather conditions this weekend, guys. For once, no rain expected for the British Grand Prix, which makes a very welcome change. We've had quite a lot of rain recently, and it's a very nice change for once to have a pretty dry weekend and no sign of any H2O falling from the sky. With that being said, guys, we do arrive here with one upgrade. Unfortunately, one of the aerodynamic ones did fail, which is a real shame because I was hoping to really push this weekend and put on a real performance for the home fans, and hopefully part of that push was having a very strong package. Now, if that upgrade hadn't failed, we should have maybe jumped Renault there or thereabouts. It's very close. You can see that kind of pack of three there between Haas, Renault and us. We're very, very close. And Red Bull as well. That kind of midfieldish kind of area is really competitive. Also, Ferrari and Saab bringing some big upgrades of their own and still pushing on with the development. So we're going to see how that pans out. But for now, pretty much you get an idea of the situation, and Silverstone kind of marks the halfway point of the season, give or take. I mean, there's 29 races, so really technically speaking, I'd say after the next race is when the second half of the season begins. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully we can try and do well here because, like I said, it's my home race. I want to try and perform and put on a show for the home fans, realistically. And I want to try and do well because, you know, I want to really push for that championship. Recently, we've been in great form. The last race at Austria was great. We managed to pick up the win there and get 25 points and, you know, just close the gap slightly to the championship. So, yeah, making good progress, but LECLERC is still a long way away in the Drivers' Championship, so we've got a long way to go, and a lot of upgrading needs to be done, and hopefully we can add to that. Not in this episode. I don't think we're going to have enough points to do some R&D this episode, but we should do after the next race. You know, recently we've done 2 triple upgrades, and recently we've done a quadruple upgrade, so we've kind of run out of R&D points, but hopefully after the German Grand Prix, going into Hungary, Spa and Monza, raw power tracks, hopefully we can really add on some big performance upgrades to this McLaren car and really make a challenge towards the championship. Now, focusing on qualifying itself, as you can see, our first of 3 attempts was actually invalidated going through Copse, the old turn 1, because we ran wide, which is fair enough. So, yeah, a bit of a shame our lap got ruined, and then I made a big mistake here. It was a scruffy session from me because I went back out and I forgot to change the tyres. So I went back out on the exact same set I did my first run on. Luckily, tyre wear isn't super high, so I'll stay out and do a lap with the worn tyres, or I'll come back in and potentially only get one more run. So I decided to stick with it and went with the worn tyres. And to be fair, I actually did set an okay lap time. I improved on my invalidated lap, so we set a somewhat of a benchmark lap time for P7 there. But I knew that it was all going to come down to my last run because I wanted to have the fresher tyres. Now, we crossed the line, and I kind of made a mistake because I crossed the line with 50 seconds to spare. I was meant to cross with around 1 minute 30 and basically be able to do the manual in-lap. So whatever happens now, the AI are going to do the in-lap for me and therefore add on a bit of extra tyre wear for the race, which is a little bit annoying, but hopefully it doesn't affect us too badly. So far though, through turns 1, 2, 3 and 4, it's been an okay first sector. There wasn't much time to gain though, I must admit. On my previous lap, it was a pretty good first sector, all things considered. There was time elsewhere, so as you can see, now going through sector 2 into Brooklands and then into Luffield. It's all about patience through here, these long left and right corners. It's all about, you know, taking it easy, focusing on your traction on the exit and really maximising the straight line speed, which is important as we go through Woodcote and now down towards the old turn 1 of Copse Corner. Pretty much flat out here, carrying the speed in, this time not running wide on the curb there, and you can see we're up by a tenth or so as we now go into Maggots and Beckett's. All about car momentum again, car setup. We run a little bit wide there through the left and actually lose our 1/10 advantage. I took a very wide line and lost a bit of time. Luckily though, we got a good exit and we make up some of that time there out of Chapel, and now onto the hanger straight. We're looking into Stowe, the next right hand. They're braking at the 50-metre board down to 5th gear. I've run a little bit wide again, missing my apex slightly, and a bit of a scruffy lap here as we now go into the final chicane, braking just as the curb appears on the right hand side, down to 3rd gear. Really have some patience, especially through this right hander, to pick up the traction and put the power down as we go up to the line, and we do improve to 8th place. We improve our lap time overall and we get to start the race on the slightly fresher set of tyres, but like I said, it's kind of compromised because we crossed the line with the checker flag already dropped, so we're going to get a lot of tyre wear, about 2 or 3%, maybe 4, added on behalf of the game because we didn't do the in-lap ourselves. So that's a little bit of a shame, and also I reckon that was a very scruffy session. I do think we could have at least got P7 and maybe given Ricciardo a run for his money on a better day, but also the setup didn't quite feel 100% happy, so yeah, not the best session. I've got to admit, qualifying's been quite good for me, but this wasn't one for the record books. With that being said, though, we are going to start the race from P8 tomorrow. Alonso is P11. Hopefully we can turn it around, and it's my home race. The pressure's on, so let's jump into it. It's time for round 10 for the British Grand Prix.
We're right back where it all began. The very first World Championship Grand Prix was held here at Silverstone in 1950, with Giuseppe Farina taking the top step of an all-Alfa Romeo podium. He earned 9 championship points that day on his way to the inaugural title. His winning total at the season's end, just 30 points. My, how times have changed. So let's see who can reach the top step of the modern podium today. Straddling the border of Northamptonshire and Buckinghamshire, the 18 corners of the Silverstone circuit form the 3.6-mile beating heart of Formula One. It's been reinvented over the years, with Turn 1 now the fast right-hander of Abbey, along with 2 DRS zones on the Wellington and Hanger Straights respectively. But the magic of racing is as strong here as it's ever been. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. Let's talk about Renault. They've had 1 retirement in the last 5 races. What do you think that says about the reliability of their car?
I think they can be fairly pleased with that record so far. The first thing any good car needs is a solid, reliable base with which to build on, and they seem to have that this season.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. A fantastic effort from Charles Leclerc yesterday puts him on pole, with Sebastian Vettel starting alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Raikkonen, Ericsson, Nico Hülkenberg and Ricciardo, Sainz, Martinez, Verstappen and Sergio Perez, Alonso, Magnussen, Romain Grosjean and Hamilton, Bottas, Ocon, Pierre Gasly and Brendan Hartley. Stroll and Sergei Sirotkin rounds off the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Right, here we are then on the grid for the British Grand Prix. We start the race from P8, row number 4, and hopefully we could try and have a good race. It's my home Grand Prix, so I want to impress and have a decent performance. And let's see the race strategy first of all, because as you guys saw in qualifying, it was a messy session. It wasn't really a good qualifying, and I'm still kind of unconvinced on the setup. It's a setup that I've used before, and it's worked for me every single time, but for some reason the McLaren just hasn't quite worked the same. And also, you notice I finished my final lap, my actual best lap in the session, and I crossed the line when the flag already dropped, so pretty much a lot of tyre wear has been added to my tyres on the, in theory, in-game in-lap that AI did. So my tyres are a little bit more worn out than I would like them to be, so it's going to make the one-stop a little bit tricky here today, but we have to try and make this one-stop work. There's no way of going enough different strategy because the pit lane is so long and it's so slow here, so you have to go for the one-stopper. There's no other choice, and fuel-wise, we are 1.5 laps over. A little bit lighter than I normally am. I like to go 2 to 2.5 laps heavy. We're going to go 1.5, so try and be a little bit lighter at the start and try and be a little bit more aggressive. It's important to get a good start for me, in my opinion. I think, we should have qualified a little bit higher up. I think P5, P6 was definitely possible. So, yeah, with that in mind, we're going to try and be aggressive here on the opening lap and try and make up a few places. My target today is a podium. I'm aiming high. I want to impress and get a good result in my home race. So with that being said, we're going to jump straight into it here at Silverstone and let's see how the race goes. It's time for round number 10 here at Silverstone and the British Grand Prix. Let's jump into it. Right, here we go. Let's build up the revs, get them into the sweet spot. The lights are on. 5 lights are on and they are off. And away we go here at Silverstone. Signs with a great start. We get a poor start, a good actual reaction to the 5 lights, but a poor second phase. So we're on the back foot here, down to P11 alongside Fernando Alonso. We're going to go down the inside though of the Force India of Sergio Perez. And now down the inside of Max Verstappen as well into turn 4, sorry. We're going to recover those positions. Very aggressive start, back end extremely loose early on here. Very, very loose back end on the car so far. We've got lots of side-by-side action here down towards Brooklands and Luffield, this complex. Just try and see if we can get close to these guys. Sainz and Ricciardo side-by-side, as are Raikkonen and Ericsson. Over on the grass there, on the gravel, we're going to have Verstappen, I think, on the back of us here. But we do have good straight line speed. That's one thing I do know. We should be competitive on the straights here, unlike in the past, as Ricciardo gets a poor run through the old turn 1 there. We're going to get right on the back of him. Not close enough though, as we get a track extension warning there for running a little bit wide, just getting all 4 wheels out of the racing line. We're going to set up the switchback though through Chapel. Can we get any momentum here and get any kind of run on the Red Bull? Do we have enough straight line speed here in this McLaren? Looks like it's pretty even Stevens here going down towards Stowe. But I'm good on the brakes. And there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Being aggressive on this opening lap, not messing around, taking no prisoners. And we are up to P7 there, overtaking the Red Bull of Daniel Ricciardo. Up next, Carlos Sainz in the Renault as Leclerc sets the pace out front, the championship leader, establishing an early lead over Sebastian Vettel. And lap 1 draws to a close as we begin lap 2. And let's see if we have the pace here to compete with these guys. I think we do. But I need to be very aggressive and stick with it, stay focused. Raikkonen and Ericsson still battling it out here. Raikkonen this time getting the short straw, yellow flag behind, and it's actually Vettel who pulls over. I think he's broken his suspension, but yeah, Leclerc slowed down. Oh my god, Leclerc slows down. Is Leclerc out of the race? Oh my god, he's out of the race already. Charles Leclerc in the Sauber. We almost went straight to the back of him. Looks like Sebastian must have hit him. Leclerc must have broken down. Vettel didn't react in time, and they've both retired from the Grand Prix and win our P5. And this multi-car battle is now a battle for the race win. Oh my god, what the hell has happened here? Vettel out, confirmation in the Ferrari there. And oh my days, we are currently P5 here, and we're in the mix for a race win out of nowhere all of a sudden. The championship leader, Charles Leclerc, retires. His Sauber lets him down. A rare reliability issue for that car. And that's opened the championship now. Wow, that is massive.
On Sainz, they have an issue with their car, they're going to be slow.
Oh, okay, now Sainz has got trouble in the Renault. Okay, they're all dropping like flies here so far, and the race is really swinging in my favour. Sainz is going to be in trouble here already. You're going to be able to see it through cops. We're going to get a very big run on him here going into Maggots and Beckett, so let's try and pace ourselves. We're going to pick up the DRS, which is good. We seem to have just about enough pace to hang on to these guys, although Ricciardo is right on my tail. On the exit, there we go, open up the DRS. We're going to go to the right hand side of Carlos Sainz and try and get past him. Ricciardo's close, but not close enough. So we're going to jump up to P4 in this race now. Incredible progress to say we were P11 on lap 1 after that poor start. Right, one position more to get to that podium. Let's crack on with this, let's keep going. At the minute, I can't shake off Ricciardo. He's just able to stick with me because of DRS, which is kind of frustrating. And also, I'm just lacking a little bit of pace, realistically, to what I would like to really compete here today. We're keeping the front 3 in our sight, but I'd like to be a little bit closer. But we're just struggling at the minute. The lap times and the pace is consistent, though, which is good. Okay, Ricciardo's on me here. Not the best one, and he's going to go to the outside. Should be pretty hard for him to pass through there. I should be able to defend that. And there we go. Textbook defensive driving there. We keep Ricciardo behind for now. But the pressure starts to build here, and he's definitely got a little bit more pace than me. I'm just trying to hold on here and get to the pit stop phase. Ericsson set the pace, 27.8. We can't really match that. And he's just kind of dragging Raikkonen and Hülkenberg with him pretty much. No one's really challenging him, so I kind of need those guys out front to kind of break up a little bit, and that DRS train to kind of stop. That's the reason Ricciardo keeps on hanging on to me, because he just keeps on getting DRS. Yeah, 27.7, that's not pace I can match. Ricciardo still putting the pressure on here. He's relatively close into turn 1, but I don't think he's going to go for it just yet. But he's really keeping me on my toes. This is our scheduled pit stop lap, so we've managed to make it with slightly more worn softs than what I would like. So now let's try and have a strong in lap. Right, here we go. Just scheduled the pit in this lap, so going through Stowe. It's a 60 km/h pit lane, so we've got to slow down as much as possible. Only Hülkenberg comes in, Ricciardo stays out. Interesting strategy there. Also Ericsson and Raikkonen as well. Ericsson is still setting 27.6s. And like I said, he's dragging Raikkonen with him. So this might be the chance we need for Hülkenberg to actually break away and fall back from those guys, hopefully, if Ericsson and Raikkonen keep up that strong pace on the in-lap. Good thing about a pit box, we shouldn't get held up because we're quite far down. And we're going to go into a set of medium compound tyres. Here we go. Nice quick stop, 2.2, that level 2 pit stop efficiency paying off there from the crew. Let's hope Hülkenberg gets a little bit of traffic and held up slightly on his outlap. That would help me out. But here we go, a long, slow pit lane, but finally up to speed. It's going to be close with Carlos Sainz. Can we rejoin in front. No, we can't, just behind. Which is a shame. Let's try and work towards getting past him if we can. I also got a change of front wing, so up from level 3 to level 4 for a little bit more front end downforce, because I felt like I had a little bit of understeer kicking in. So let's try and get up to speed. You can see how much I was suffering down the cold tyres, even the pit lane. So hopefully we'll get onto signs, come the back straight.
Fernando's in the pits.
Right, Alonso pits in. You can see how far back we are from signs. He seems to have fixed his Renault. Seems to be working again. Also, it's taken me ages to heat up these mediums, but finally we're going to get them in the working range and feel good on these. But it's taken me a little bit longer than I liked. It's not much of an undercut around here. I've got to say the tyres feel horrible. I mean, generally speaking on this again, AI is so much faster on the fresh tyres. And I think Ricciardo might be close. Let's have a look through turn 1. Has Ricciardo managed to overcut me? There he is. He's going to be very close with the Red Bull. We're going to go to the outside. On the warm tyres, we're going to just carry the grip. Inside line through turn 4. That should do the trick. Go for the squeeze on the exit. There we go. We've just stayed in front of Daniel. We are going to pick up DRS as well, so that's going to keep us in front for now. Thank God for that. That was a little bit closer than I would have liked. We've really struggled on that outlap. The tyres did not feel good, but now we've got the extra bit of front wing. I can feel the downforce already, helping me out through the corners, so hopefully that should give us a bit more of an advantage, especially through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel, which is where I'm strongest than anybody else. Personal best, Ricciardo though, already on my 6. He's on me straight away, so I think we're going to be defending for the rest of this race. I don't think I can see myself getting anything else than P4, just because of the slipstream effect. Hulkenberg's managed to hold on, I think, to Ericsson and Raikkonen slipstream, so he's going to keep on getting DRS and keep pulling away, which is really annoying. So I think this is the best we can do here today, and it's all about now keeping Ricciardo behind for the rest of the Grand Prix. Look at that, purple middle sector. Very strong second sector. We've opened up a little bit of a gap to Ricciardo there. The downforce paying off quite nicely, but we need a little bit more pace to really open up the gap, or preferably Ricciardo just making a little mistake and locking up. 27.8, a couple of tenths off Raikkonen, who just set the fast up of the Grand Prix, so we're not too far off. One more of them, and then we might be able to really start to cause Ricciardo some problems in terms of keeping up with me, hopefully. But we need to keep going. Another personal best, but Ricciardo is just able to keep up. He's actually going to go for into turn 1 here. That's brave, very brave from Ricciardo. We are just going to stay in front. Didn't expect him to really go down the inside there, but he committed to it. This is what I mean, that's so frustrating, because I've got more pace than Ricciardo, I know I have, but the DRS, 3 DRS zones are so powerful, every single one of them. The straights are so long, it gives you a good chance, and the AI are good on traction as well, so I'm literally under pressure on every single straight. Ricciardo there surprised me, I wasn't expecting to go down the inside. Side by side with the Aussie. Out of fear that AI gets such good traction no matter what I do, but for once it seems like Ricciardo got a bit of a poor exit, so let's keep going. Hulkenberg has actually fallen back now from the battle for the lead, so he's no longer getting DRS or slipstream, so he's becoming a little bit more vulnerable, so keep our head down. You never know, the race could come to us, but we need to try and keep up with a strong pace. That last lap might have just been the opening that I needed. I'm pushing on here because I've got the biggest gap I've ever had to Ricciardo at the minute, so I want to cash in on this and make it count. So we're trying to really stretch him here. He's still going to have DRS on this back straight because of where the detection point is right now. But if I can have a good Maggots and Beckett's here, this should really help get the gap out if possible. That was good. Here we go, I'm finally starting to get the gap out. Purple middle sector, gap to Ricciardo, 9 tenths. We're so close to getting that gap out. Come on, let's do this. Personal best again, a 0.7. Ricciardo's closed the gap slightly, as the AI are pretty strong through the final sector. I'm keeping up with this though, I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going even faster still, but Ricciardo's picked up the pace. He's 4 tenths adrift and he's going even faster than ever. However, we are catching Hulkenberg, so progress is being made here. We're catching Hulkenberg at quite a rapid rate, and we've still got plenty of laps left. You never know. Personal best again. Ricciardo though, look at that. 27.1, fastest man on the circuit. So at the minute, if we've got him behind us, he's going to keep pushing me along, which is good. So I don't mind. Oof! Wow! Big moment. Pushing the limits just a bit too much through there. Yellow flag behind. Could have been for me. That might have been a look into the future there. That could have been me in straight into the wall. Luckily, we didn't lose too much time, considering how big that slide was. But we're still keeping up here. And I'm still catching Hulkenberg, so let's keep going. Ricciardo seems to have dropped off this lap. And the gap is 1.1. So Ricciardo's really dropped off. He must have turned down the engine. He must have been running a pretty aggressive engine mode all this time. And he's finally maybe run out. I mean, I'm pretty much on the limit as well. I'm about to run out of fuel in the RS, so understandable if that's the case. We've finally got that gap of 1 second to Ricciardo. Now we can try to pull away if we can and focus on Hulkenberg. Ricciardo's just back within a second. I'm trying to turn down the engine here with the ERS and try and get some battery, because I was running it into like the last 15% and I had no battery left, so I'm trying to save what I can. But we're still kind of catching Hulkenberg here. It's all about balancing at the minute. I'm trying to attack, defend and save at the same time. It's just so tricky at the minute. The race is in such a delicate stage. Okay, Ricciardo's back within range, but I'm trying to save some ERS. I'm getting pretty close. I also want to have one more attack at Hulkenberg and really go for him. Right, purple middle sector. I've saved up as much battery as I'd like and fuel a little bit as well, but I'm now really pushing on now. I want to give it everything I've got. I'm going to really stretch Ricciardo and also chase after Hulkenberg as much as I can. Personal best, there you go. Good pace, let's keep going. 3 laps to go. Gap to Hulkenberg inside 2 seconds, really pushing on here. Come on, let's do this. Personal best, come on. 2 laps to go. Another personal best. Everyone's going faster and faster now. Everybody's setting personal bests. Last up of the Grand Prix though, let's bring it home. Here we go then. I've pushed to the absolute limit. The podium just wasn't to be. If only Ericsson had pulled away a little bit earlier and Raikkonen and Hulkenberg had detached themselves from DRS and slipstream, then we would have had a chance because we had the pace. We're going to come home though for P4, and I'll take that with a personal best over the line with a 27.2. That's a decent result, and I'll take that. Pretty decent considering LECLERC retired from the Grand Prix. No complaints whatsoever.
Did you struggle to get through all that traffic today? Your team must be ecstatic with how you're performing. Do you have any comments about the collisions? Appreciate your time.
Right, so there we have it then. Looking at the final race results, Marcus Ericsson wins for Sauber in the British Grand Prix ahead of Kimi Raikkonen, and Nico Hulkenberg rounds off the podium there for Renault. We come home P4, just missing out on the podium positions there. A little bit unfortunate because I think we maybe had the pace, but like I said, we just needed the front three to pretty much detach themselves from each other a lot earlier in the first stint to really keep the gap a lot closer. Ricciardo P5 ahead of Max Verstappen. Then we got Magnussen P7 ahead of my teammate Fernando Alonso P8, and much better performance from Alonso this time round, only 14-15 seconds behind me this time round. And then we got Romain Grosjean P9 and Valtteri Bottas P10 scoring the final point, with Gasly, Ocon, Hartley, Hamilton P14, Sainz, Stroll, Sirotkin and Perez all missing out on points, and Perez actually along with Vettel and LECLERC retiring from the Grand Prix there. But those two massive retirements from the championship, because if we jump into the driver standings, you can see that we remain in second place. We lose some ground to Kimi. Sorry, we remain in third place. We lose some ground to Kimi, who's in second. But crucially, the gap to LECLERC does come down to 51 points, and Kimi's actually within 2 race wins of the Sauber. So yeah, the gap comes down. Ericsson jumps up to 5th place with that race win, overtaking Ricciardo, and Sebastian remains in P4, but he loses some ground to me in the Drivers' Championship. So all things considered, a positive race. And in terms of the Constructors, we remain in P4, extend that gap slightly over Renault because Alonso scored points in 8th place, and we outscored Hulkenberg slightly. And then Red Bull hold 3rd, and then it's quite a way to Ferrari and especially Sauber up the top. So yeah, pretty much you're looking at the front 2, and then a battle between 3 teams of Red Bull, McLaren and Renault for P3, and then it's pretty much the rest of the field. So yeah guys, hopefully you enjoyed this race here at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. And yeah, we're going to call it a day here because obviously we don't really have that many R&D points, and I'll try and do another raft of big upgrades coming soon. Obviously, we've been on a pretty good streak lately, you know, triple, quadruple in terms of the upgrades lately. So we're going to take a little break, save up some points, and try and go on a massive rampage going into Spa and Monza, which is engine-powered circuits, going into the second half of the season. So with that being said, if you guys did enjoy this episode of Career Mode, then please do drop a like, and also get subscribed for daily Formula 1 content and turn on notifications to not miss a single upload from me. And finally, check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that, guys, thank you for watching this episode of Career Mode. We'll see you in my next video very soon. But until then, it's goodbye from me.